Hey, this is Morgan Page, and you're watching EDM America TV.
What's up? It's Reincarnate. We are live in Chicago. I'm sitting here with Morgan Page.
How's it going? What's happening?
Whole lot's been. What's been going on with you since the last time we met?
Just working on a new record, touring, and just a marathon run of shows this weekend. So down here for the festival.
I know you were just in Chicago last weekend. Did you get to eat any good food while you were here last weekend?
Usually you're always rushed. There is amazing food in Chicago, as everyone knows. Some of my favorite foodie spots, like Girl on the Go, that's amazing. I always go there when I come to Chicago. But this time it was just in and out and played Tech Week, and then unfortunately, so no foodie stuff. Yeah.
There's a lot of festivals going on in Chicago. Do you think it's a bit much, or what?
I think it's easy, to oversaturate things. Like anywhere, any city, there's a lot of festivals happening, and usually I think things kind of consolidate. And as you're seeing, like companies are buying out festivals and sort of taking over. And I think in the end, it usually ends up being like 2 or 3 festivals. Yeah.
What new music do you have coming out? Who are you working with that's new that no one knows about yet?
I can't spell all the beans yet on the new album, but it'd be next year. It'd be 2015. Yeah. There'll be some new singles. I'll be sort of sneaking them into my sets, my club sets. And but Lissy's back, Angela McCluskey as well from In the Air. So some of everyone's favorite vocalists are back again. Awesome. And it's just a lot of really vocal heavy tracks. A little clubbier than the last album, so it's exciting.
I watched an interview that you did where you were talking about you had like a plug-in pack and who was that with that you made that for?
Waves, yeah, that was the Waves EMP bundle. So they were like, pick your favorite Waves plugins that you depend on, and let's put together a bundle. So they're a pretty legendary company. So
when did that come out?
I think that was like early last year. So it's just cool to have be working with these companies that design the tools that you use every day. So it's really useful.
And you prefer more of a tactile, like an analog. You like to actually play the keyboard instead of like manipulate and.
I do a little bit of both. A little bit of keyboards, a little bit of penciling it in, the piano roll, things like that. So, but I'm jealous of a lot of these new kids that are starting up and they can just pencil in all the chords and they're like whiz kids. Yeah.
I know we both talked about when we last met that you worked in radio. Yeah. You ever think about getting back into that besides your In the Air show?
I mean, yeah, that's been the In the Air show on SiriusXM. It's syndicated all over the world, so that is awesome. Yeah, that is the replacement for my college mix show. So it's cool though. It's nice to be able to do that. I have less restrictions on what I can play, and in college radio you had a certain amount of music you had to play from the new music bin. But every week is new music, and that's what the show is all about. So I try to have almost 100% new music I haven't played yet.
How involved are you? I mean, do you pick every single song that's on there? Do people send, or is it do you have someone that works for you that helps you and you trust their ear, or?
I have an assistant who helps basically organize all the promos and get rid of the stuff that definitely wouldn't make sense. But I pick all the records and I mix it all and do all the voiceovers. So it's crazy because some big DJs have ghost producers for their mix shows, which is crazy. So it's definitely not the case. It takes an entire day. And to do that and get it out to all the syndicates, and it's a lot of work.
What do you think about SoundCloud, deleting everyone's? Yeah. I had 44 mixes that I did, and I have 2 left on there now. What do you think's going to happen with SoundCloud with that?
They're going to cash out like every company does, and it always starts like that. People start with this grassroots vision, and it's something that helps everyone, and it's just great, and then it gets sort of consolidated and corporatized, and that's part of the process, I guess, because it's capitalism at work. But it's I love the service. I mean, but it is frustrating though because the bootlegs, and I think they should have more flexible ways to deal with the copyrights.
Which bootleg. You actually said that is a way that people should not be afraid to do it. What was your cease and desist? Is that what it was called? Yeah. And that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to. I think I always said to people ask forgiveness rather than ask permission. And I think as long as you're not selling it, there's a very different move it's a very different thing when you are selling it or saying it's your original work, or but if you're saying it's a bootleg mix, I'm not giving it away for free, and maybe it's just streaming instead of downloading and streaming.
If somebody wanted to collaborate with you, how would they send music to you?
Best way is just morganpagemusic@gmail. That's my promo email account. And that's where I kind of listen to upcoming artists. I do like to discover artists as I see that they're getting momentum, and because it's kind of overwhelming to just listen to everything. So I like to see. So it's interesting how the process works, where I'll see somebody's SoundCloud page just blow up with one of their bootleg mixes or one of their originals or something. It's a mashup, and that's how you get people's attention.
Okay, well, what would you say to people who, people buy so many plays on SoundCloud and stuff like that or whatever? That's obviously still would just be your ear, and you would hear whether you liked it. And
sometimes you don't know. Yeah, sometimes, you obviously have to have an ear for it, but everything can be gamed, so you got to be careful, yeah.
How are you enjoying our soundtrack for our interview?
This is great. It's very close, very upfront.
What do you got coming up? Where are you headed after tonight?
Tonight, one more party after this in Chicago, and then back to LA for a few days. So wrapping up the record, and then just doing a bunch of North American dates, and then off to play like Ultra Japan in the fall, and lots of crazy parties. So yeah, another China tour. So just stay busy, making music, playing music out.
Anything else you want to plug?
No, just if anybody hasn't subscribed to the podcast or they're not following me on Twitter, it's twitter.com/MorganPage, and obviously on Facebook as well, Facebook.com/MorganPage.
Thank you so much for your time, man. We're looking for your set. For EDM America TV, I'm Reincarnate.